Gotcha.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's your host, Devil Arts Gaming, with default noises in the background.
That's not even me.
It was you texting.
That was not even me.
Bruh. You're right. Must be some other black
Must
and
have been
white.
the win.
Must have been Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, God.
It was The Rock breaking in to film another movie. Anyway, so today is going to be a little different. It's not just going to be gameplay. Instead, we're actually going to just teach Default about Dragon Ball. We're going to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to talk Ball of Dragons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, getting drunk.
Hey, nice. What a hell of a way to do it. All right. So, as Team 4-Star once said, the story begins with a little girl shooting a little boy in the face.
What the fuck?
That is actually how Dragon Ball starts. That's not a joke.
Okay.
So, Goku first meets Bulma, the blue-haired scientist, because she's driving down his road, and she shoots him in the face.
The fuck?
Like, she almost hits him with her car, and in response to that, like, Goku's, like, waving at her, like, what the hell? You almost hit me, you crazy. You crazy bitch. And she, in response, pulls out her fucking 9mm and shoots him clean in the head, and he's just like, ow, what is wrong with you?
Shit, I thought this was in Japan. Motherfuckers be carrying 9mm like it's nothing?
Nah, bro, but, like, for real, though, he, like, lifts, because, in her defense, he had lifted up her car, because she almost hit him. He lifted her car, and he threw it, because Goku was raised in the woods. For real. And, like, at that point, he had never seen a woman in real life. He had only heard about them by his grandfather. So, basically, Goku has, as the story as we know, is, well, we know, you don't. But, like, Goku, what are the odds?
I know.
But, Goku crash landed on Earth from planet Vegeta. As after Bardock had commandeered, basically Superman. His origin story is Superman. His planet was doomed. His father had commandeered a space vehicle and sent his son out moments before the planet's destruction. Mere moments.
Right.
So, like I just said, it's Superman. He is Superman. Superman is fuck. But, the main thing is that Saiyans are kind of violent by nature.
Right.
Depending on the iteration of Dragon Ball you're looking at, Super basically was just like, no, Goku's just a kind-hearted person. While in the original, Goku was violent-natured, sort of, or at least aggressive. But then Gohan was carrying him one day on a walk in a basket. On his back, and then Goku fell out of the basket and cracked his skull open.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, this man absolutely was a terrible caretaker, because if Goku was a normal child, like, that kid was cooked.
Right.
But, good news, Goku is not a normal child, as we will learn later. So, Goku meets Bulma. She's looking for the Dragon Balls. I'm sure you already know what those are. I don't think I have to explain to you the wish-granting orbs. But by this point, Gohan was already dead. Goku had killed him, because he can turn into a great ape when he sees the moon. And he was told not to go outside at night, and he did anyway to take a piss. That is the canon reason why Goku left. Bro said, I had to take a pee, and I woke up, and my house was destroyed, and Grandpa was dead.
Okay.
Bro low-key delivers that, by the way, with a cheery attitude. Like, yeah, shit happens sometimes, you know? But, yeah. So, Bulma eventually realizes that Goku keeps mentioning that he has a grandpa. And she's like, okay, so you live out here with your grandpa? And he goes, yeah, me and Grandpa live out here. He takes her to the shrine he lives at, where the 4-star ball lives. And I say that because it's literally on a pedestal, and he worships it as if it was his grandfather. So she's like, well, hey, I want that, and Goku's like, no, well, you can't have it. Any questions so far?
No, so far pretty standard, pretty straight to the point, honestly.
Yeah. So then they go on adventures, and along the way, they run into the Pilaf gang,
Right.
which that's fun. They run into a rabbit, whose name is Master Carrot or Monster Carrot. And the man has the ability to, like, if he touches you, you become a carrot.
Okay, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, bro. OG Dragon Ball was just different, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like it was meant to be like comedical with fighting as the undertone,
Right.
but like eventually it just, of course, as you know, took fighting to be the main focus, and comedy takes the backseat, or at least is not as important as the fights. But yeah, no, original Dragon Ball was like ridiculous. Like there's an actual scene where Yamcha is met. Goku meets Yamcha in the desert. You know what? Better yet, let's talk about it in chronological order. They meet Oolong,
Okay. Right.
the shape-shifting pig who is a straight menace to society. I'm not even kidding when they find him. Like, homie has a ton of like little girls that he's kidnapped from this village.
What the fuck?
I'm not even kidding,
You little
bro.
old school
Like,
with it.
and Goku like originally was gonna fight him because he shapeshifted into like these monsters and was demanding like the firstborns of their village, pretty much the firstborn like daughters of their village,
Right.
and they're just straight up like, sir, okay, I guess we can't really fight this guy because he's a monster. And then Goku's like, wait, did you guys ever try fighting him? And they're like, well, no, but why would we? He's a monster. So Goku's stupid ass is like, all right, bet I'll fight him. At first, Goku
Say
dresses
less.
up. On God, you can see the aspects of Goku are there already. Of adult
Right.
Goku as we know him. Bro really said, yo, all right, I'll run the hands with this man. Shoot, I don't even care. Like, but they did at first convince Goku to dress as a woman.
What the
As a little,
fuck?
at first, yeah, they got
That's a
originally the plan was to just trick him, and Goku like dresses up as a little girl and stuff to
Right.
get kidnapped, so he would find out where the girls are. Because like just beating him up doesn't tell you where he's hiding people.
True.
So Bulma was like, hey, well, why don't you, not just beat them up, but beat them up and you find the kids, huh? And then basically after it's revealed that he's nothing but a weak little punk because it's Oolong, he's forced to stay with them because Bulma sees his ability is useful. Then they go through the desert. Bulma lost all of her capsules in the water. Oolong does something that you would definitely go to HR if you did at work, which is
Right.
some form of harassment, if you can catch my drift.
Mm-hmm.
Then, after that interesting display, they meet Yamcha, the desert bandit, which is when Yamcha was still cool, might I add.
So he was cool at some point.
Yamcha was dope. In the beginning, like, there is an actual scene where, like, in the manga, Yamcha hits Goku so hard he breaks the panel.
Damn.
Yeah, no, like, it is actually kind of dope. And that was Yamcha's introduction. And, like, keep in mind, he's fighting a Goku who hadn't eaten yet and was starving.
Right.
So, like, Goku the whole time had been complaining about how he was hungry, and Yamcha's like, yo, stop bitching. Like, bro, you're a punk. Like, you're a bitch. And Goku's like, nah, like, seriously. If I had eaten, you would have been cooked.
Right.
Well, Yamcha had a fear of women as well in his introduction. So, like,
Bro's
he was
a Discord mod.
on God, bro. Bro was your average Redditor. So Yamcha's main problem though was like he would have been able to cook Goku, or he was cooking Goku until Bulma like woke up. Hey, there he is.
Yo,
All right,
what's good?
we're about to get a lot more on topic. Watch.
What's going on?
All right, so we're at the part of Yamcha's introduction.
Yamcha's introduction. This is going to
Yeah.
be as much of a refresher for me as it is
Oh, word. Okay, so
default
Yamcha,
because
like Bulma was, they were in the desert. Yamcha was fighting Goku. Goku was getting his ass handed to him up until
I
Bulma
forgot
sat
Yamcha
up.
actually whooped him.
Yeah, no, Yamcha was dogging this man.
I forgot about that.
Is that not a wild thought? Like, Goku was losing to Yamcha. It
A
was not a
little
fair
bit. I
fight.
feel like it was probably like a 2 second fight, and then after that, it
No,
was
no,
back
it
to
was a decent bit of Yamcha like beating on Goku, and like they were like convinced that he was about to murder him because like Yamcha was about to hit him with a final blow type move, and then Bulma woke up and Yamcha's fear of women kicked in, and that's what saved Goku's life. But like then this is how intense Yamcha was in the beginning. They were in a RV that Oolong had with him. And like Oolong does some predator type stuff again on Bulma,
like he always does.
like he always does. And when that happens, the maniac, the man, the myth, the legend, Yamcha shows back up with a goddamn rocket launcher. Bro legit blows up the front of their. Imagine being scared of women. I know, right, Cairo? Like we said, bro, you're average redditor. So. Or at least your average Reddit mod. But after he blows up the front end of their RV, almost murdering everyone inside, Goku gets back out and he's like, bro, it's not gonna be like it was before, bro. I actually had something to eat now. Like now you're cooked. And he proceeds to dog on it was more equal, but leaning heavily into Goku's favor. If I remember, Yamcha retreated.
I think he definitely did. Pretty sure. It's been a few years since I read Dragon Ball. The original.
Yeah, and then that leads to the amazingness that is Goku meeting Chi-Chi for the first time, which is hilarious. God, is it hilarious?
That starts off with the Mount Pyozu arc, which starts with Master Roshi setting out the fire by hitting the castle.
Well, let's not forget.
Kamehameha.
Let's not forget the funniest scene though. So the entire area was on fire. Like Chi-Chi's house was on fire. The Ox King is like, oh, like he was about to murder Oolong and Bulma, and up until the I didn't get to pick everybody. He was about to murder them up until Goku shows back up on the flying Nimbus, his flying cloud, gifted by Master Roshi. From their first interaction, because he saved Master Roshi's turtle.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's
hilarious
a couple
encounters
of moments that kind of echo that, where like Goku's connection to either Roshi or Gohan kind of like paves the way
saved
for him.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then after getting off of after meeting the Ox King, he's like, "Hey, my daughter's out somewhere in the wilderness. If you see her, Goku, can you pick her up? I mean, it would be amazing, and I'm sure you two would get along. I mean, one boy, one girl." And he essentially, it's alluded that he was offering her hand. And
Which
then
realistically.
he was. And it's revealed almost immediately, apparently Chi-Chi was so, socially inept that when she met Yamcha, who ran into her first, she meets Yamcha first, and Yamcha, sees her as some annoying brat, because she is, especially compared to Yamcha, who's, late teens, and her being Goku's age, 12, and she's like, oh, some mysterious stranger, oh my, you are, bruh, I'm trying to think of the best, YouTube-friendly way to talk about this topic. She basically started hitting on Yamcha, who knocks her, and, eventually Yamcha, leaves, and then Goku shows up, and she's like, oh, Another guy that's two men fighting for my hand. Oh, wow, oh my! Like you only
Also
see about these in
important to know-
magazines.
It's also important to note she's like 12. And
Yeah,
has
like,
lived on a mountain with no other human
I
beings
mentioned it.
other than her father, supposedly.
I'd already mentioned it, but yeah, it's definitely a weird look for Yamcha. Granted, he only did that because like he had knocked her out prior, and like he was trying to save face. Because it's not a good look to beat on the Ox King's kid, because he was a feared person in the Dragon Ball universe, like at this point. So then basically Goku does the weirdest thing ever. He doesn't know how to tell if people are male or female, so he starts patting her on the crotch.
He does that a couple of times.
He does that a few times.
I don't know if you talked about it, but with the carrot guy, he does
Yeah,
it
I mentioned
to like just random citizens in the town during that scene.
He does it then. He does it during the Oolong arc. He does it like at one point. At one point, early in the beginning, like near the beginning, I didn't mention it, but like he full on removes Bulma's panties.
Yeah.
And like he screams, and he's like, "Oh, Bulma, your balls are missing." And she thinks he's talking about Dragon Balls, and she's like, "What? No, they're right here." And like later on, she tries to like flash Roshi for a Dragon Ball, and that's when she realizes that she ain't got no draws on.
It's important to note that the landscape of comedy manga looked a lot different than it does nowadays when early Dragon Ball was coming out.
Yeah, Roshi would be catching a charge modern day.
It was a long time ago. That was just kind of like
the
common,
humor.
like that kind of joke was more common for comedy manga than it is nowadays.
Yeah, no, like Roshi modern day would be like catching a charge.
For sure.
So like, yeah, that happened. That all happened. We're at the like essentially after he pats her on the crotch though, like she full on kicks him off his own Nimbus because like she calls him a pervert, which I mean, full on, absolutely. That's Goku's
he doesn't
fault.
know what he's talking about.
I mean, yeah,
That was one of the things I loved about early Dragon Ball is how much Goku knows absolutely nothing about anything.
yeah, Goku legit like it was just him and the woods. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, for a majority of his life, it was just the woods. Even though, ironically, Roshi, you know, the guy who knew Goku's caretaker, like, knew of Goku's existence, bro never once thought, hey, let me check. Basically, it's like Naruto. It's Naruto all over again, bro. The adults in the situation kind of, like, fail miserably. But, yeah. So, they get Roshi... They, like, talk to Roshi, who was supposed to have the Bancho fan, this thing called the Bancho fan, to put out the fire. And Roshi's like, oh, I had the Bancho fan, but, you know, I kind of spilled some stuff on it and threw it away. So they're like, okay, then how are you going to put out the fire? Though the introduction of the famous Kamehameha.
Yeah, this is the first instance of it, and I believe this is also kind of, this is where the animation for his ultimate in Working Zero comes from, is this one specifically.
Actually, I think the...
not his ultimate, but the one super...
Oh, where he's like, I'm its creator.
Yeah, exactly.
That one, yeah. So basically, Roshi gets into his buff form, he fires off this legendary technique, and like, Goku sees it, and he goes, well, you think I could do that? And Roshi's like, of course not! I trained 50 years for this technique. And Goku immediately fires it off and breaks their only working car.
So it's also important to note, too, that basically the entire joke is that it's not hard to do. You just have to basically do the hand signals, and it happens. Like, that ends up being, like, they lean more into it later on with, like, just the fact that everyone learns it. Yamcha learns it, Krillin learns it, like... And Roshi's like, it took me 50 years to perfect it, but once
Poor
he
guy, by the way.
You just basically have to do the hand signs.
Can we talk about how, like, unfortunate that is to be Roshi in this scene?
Yeah.
Because like, bro really did spend 50 years mastering a technique that took them seconds. Well, that's not true. It did take a lot for Krillin to learn it. It took him, like, a couple of years to really, like, to show that he can use it. It took, or at least a year or two. It took Yamcha... I think, a year training with Roshi as well. Like, none of them were instant except for Goku, but still, like, it's still an improvement via, like, 50 years to 1 year's, like, massive improvement.
Yeah.
But, dang, bro. Imagine. Now, I didn't pick this character. I'd like to mention that. I was trying to...
Right now, my spectate is a little delay versus the
Oh,
stream.
you'll see. It's the Great Ape.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like going through trying to find a character I wanted, and kind of got stuck with this one. Anyway, so back to the topic. So eventually, though, like they collect majority of the Dragon Balls, but then the Pilaf gang emerges, and they were actually like a threat in the beginning. They capture the Z Fighters. Well, they're not really the Z Fighters yet. It's just Goku at this point. Oh wait, ooh, dang, we skipped ahead. No, wait,
Yeah,
no, we didn't. No, we didn't. Roshi shows up. They get the stuff.
They get on a lot of misadventures.
But they get kidnapped by the Pilaf gang, and are essentially like their Dragon Ball gets stolen, including Goku's 4-star that reminds him of his grandfather. That is a hard blow for Goku. And like they're in this, they get into a lot of misadventure within the Pilaf gang's hideout. Like it's basically in the anime, it's like booby trapped up. They get out of one room just to find themselves back in it. When they break out of it, the Pilaf gang puts them in like an iron room, pretty much, with a glass ceiling that would cook them alive. That is made to cook you alive during the day. Which is like morbid.
I forgot it was that serious.
Yeah, no, like they were going to be boiled alive.
I just can't take the Pilaf gang seriously anymore. But I forgot.
No, bro, they were definitely a threat. Like in the beginning, like it was so strong that Goku was also getting hungry at this point. It's worth mentioning, but Goku couldn't even break out of it with his Kamehameha. It drilled like a mini hole in it, but that hole was just big enough for Oolong and Puar to turn into bats and fly through. And they ended up interrupting the wish the Pilaf gang was going to make by Oolong wishing for panties. The day was saved by a pervert wishing for panties. And fun fact, in the manga specifically at least, it actually specifies that those are Bulmas. It has her name on them.
I completely forgot about that.
I don't know how I don't, but I have it memorized at this point. I used to like spend all of my days reading Dragon Ball manga, and I've been a fan of it since I was very small. So that was the Pilaf, the entire like hunt for the Dragon Balls. Oh yes, and of course, as you know, when the Dragon Balls are gathered, they disappear after they're used. So
then you have to wait another Earth year before you're able to use them again.
Yeah. So like Goku's prized possession that reminds him of the only thing that reminds him of his grandfather is just kind of gone, and Bulma's like, "Oh, I forgot to mention that, buddy. Yeah, I am so sorry." And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine. I'll just have to go find it again, I guess." So for that 1 year, Goku decides to go train with Roshi. Which training with, like, he goes to Roshi's house and Roshi's like, "Oh, why are you here?" And he goes, "You told me to come here after I was done. I'm done," meaning that I am now your responsibility. And Roshi goes, "Okay, fine. You have to find me a woman." Goku that brings him back everything but what he's asking for, because he said, "You need to find me a woman with curves." So Goku brings back this big lady. I don't know how else to describe her. And like she was holding these black dumbbells, and Roshi's like, "That's not what I meant by a curvy woman."
Mm-hmm.
So like
it's another like sequence that just kind of shows off Goku's innocence at first, like when he was younger.
Yeah, like I think one of the best parts, like one of the funnier parts, is when he brings him this mermaid, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." And then Roshi sees she's a mermaid, and he goes, I can still hang out with that upper half at least." And he goes, "Hi, I'm Roshi. I own the island. So, could you show me your..." And then she slaps him with her fishtail, and she fucks off.
Never to be seen again. Mermaids are
Literally.
canon in Dragon Ball.
So
And that's
then
just
eventually though, this bald kid shows up requesting to be trained by Roshi, and his name is Krillin, as we know. Krillin is immediately Goku's... Jesus Christ. Krillin is immediately on Goku. Okay. What I was saying is, Krillin's immediately on Goku's immediately on Krillin's shit list because he thinks that only he is really worthy of being the student of Roshi. And at one point, Goku makes fun of Krillin's bald head, and he goes, "I shave my head," and all great fighters do. Isn't that right, Master Roshi? And Master Roshi goes, "Actually, no, I'm just bald." It's a great scene.
it is a really good scene.
But as time goes forward, like Krillin slowly softens up to Goku. Then eventually, like honestly, skipping around their training arc because it isn't the most relevant thing. Because of course they train, they get stronger. There actually is a lot of scenes where they clearly outpace what Roshi thought of them. Especially Goku, who seemingly was faster than Roshi. Because there's a scene where like he does a mini foot race, like one person holds a timer, or well, typically Roshi, while Goku and Krillin both run. And Roshi sets the pace. He runs it first. Then Goku runs, but he mentions, then Krillin runs. Then Goku runs, and Goku's like, "Well, my shoe was also ripped, so that's not bad. That's not bad timing for my shoe being ripped." And Krillin's like, "Okay, well, you're definitely lying, but here's my shoes." And when Goku wears those, he immediately outpaces even Roshi. There's scenes of like Roshi being like, "Hey, you got to move mountains. If you want to consider yourself like completing my training, you'll have to be able to move a mountain." And then like Goku casually moves it, and he's like, "Oh, I meant you got to move that bigger mountain over there." My mistake. And yeah, during that,
This is one of the first scenes of just absurd scaling in Dragon Ball.
yeah,
It becomes kind of a trend.
Goku casually like moving mountains. But there is the next arc, which is a tournament arc, something Dragon Ball later becomes known for. And in there, most of the fights are relatively irrelevant, but it showcases like their different strengths. Ending with Goku versus the mysterious Jackie Chun, who is Roshi in a wig.
Basically. So
Not even basically, it is literally Roshi in a wig.
Yeah, Roshi's main rationale here is he doesn't want Goku to think he's the strongest one in the world and then get lazy and lack training.
Yeah.
So he wins he fights the tournament, and basically his whole thing is he wants to beat Goku so that he'll never stop training, which he does end up doing just barely.
Yeah, his
the fight
the entire
Roshi
rule.
and Goku.
I was gonna say the entirety of the rule is there will always be someone stronger than you, which has been a way Goku has lived his life the entirety of his life.
Yeah, so the entire fight is actually framed as if Roshi is the main character here because he's the one that like really has the most to win here. Like he's the one you want to win because it means the best like for Goku.
I mean, for me, as a child, when I first saw it, I definitely was hoping Goku would win, because, like, it was Goku, come on. But seeing him lose... Well, I mean, I know, but I'm saying what I wanted.
I get you.
But Goku definitely, like, he had lost by like, a fraction. They were both out of energy, they had both knocked each other out in their final clash. And Roshi admits he only won because he is slightly taller than Goku, so his kick to Goku's underchin was just that much deeper in than the kick that Goku landed.
Yeah, because he's just he's a little bit taller because he's an adult, and that's really what won him the fight. But it was close. really
It was
close.
very close. So, any questions so far?
Nah, not really.
All right. So the next arc is Goku versus the Red Ribbon Army. It starts
Which will
out as
be
another.
very, very important.
So it had started out as another Dragon Ball retrieval arc, but it then becomes like Goku's made aware of like this army is looking for the Dragon Balls to rule the world, and they're very much so oppressing people, like the heavily oppressing people. It is also the same army that Dr. Gero is from, the guy who created Cell, which Goku's destruction of the Red Ribbon Army is actually what leads to Cell's creation.
Yeah, hence why I
Because
say this is a really important arc for kind of setting up future stuff that would happen eventually.
oh yes, so Goku like single-handedly, like all right, so he like starts beating down like individual like leaders as he finds them, more like as they find him really. He starts beating them down each time he finds one, but eventually, like, the army's just like, all right, we can't just lose. Like, we're an army. We are not losing to a child. That's ridiculous. So they hire a mercenary named Tao to go kill Goku because, like, low key, he's not wrong. You're an army losing to a child, like, bro, that's a bad look. And Tao does actually manage to incapacitate Goku, but not fully kill him. He dang it. He manages to to shoot Goku with the Dodon Ray.
Which is, I believe that's the first Ki Blast other than Kamehameha that we see.
I
not
want to say
mistaken.
so, yeah. Other than the Kamehameha, the first one is the Dodon Ray. And
This arc
it
is
shoots
also
Goku
where-
in the chest.
This is also where Toriyama starts to kind of lean into the energy blast a little more, because the Kamehameha, it existed, and it was, of course, used by Goku and Roshi a couple times. But
Yeah.
following this, it becomes like a pretty key part of the fight choreography. So then this is kind of where that happens. And it gets
Yeah.
more and more
The-
going on, like, as the series goes on.
The other like important factor here is that Goku, like at this point, Tao had murdered this guy that like had helped Goku in some way. This like kid Upa's dad. I want to say his name is Boro.
I don't remember Upa's dad's name.
I'm gonna go with
Are we
Boro.
honest?
His name is Boro now.
That sounds about right.
So, but like Tao had, like this man had fought off the Red Ribbon Army from like the sacred land of Korin, which if you can't guess is Korin's Tower, the land where Korin's Tower resides. It's a Native American group.
Yeah, that's kind of the inspiration behind Upa and his father and
father.
their whole group.
So like they're Native Americans that live under Korin's Tower to guard it because it is seen as a sacred thing. And in doing that, he fought off the Red Ribbon Army until Tao showed up, and then Tao immediately stabbed him with his own spear, which like is cold, bro, so cold.
So also,
Tao
is
is
this the
also
point where he goes and trains with Korn?
yeah, right after this part that I was about to mention.
Gotcha.
So Boros dies, and then Tao ends up like hitting Goku in the chest with a Dodon Ray, leading it to look as if Goku's heart had stopped. He even claims he could hear Goku's heart stop. Then he leaves, and he's like, "Oh, that child ripped my shirt. Very uncool, dog." That's not actually what he says, but like he leaves to go get like a tailor, because in his eyes, the mercenary Tao can't be out here looking like a fool. Come on, man. He's got to drip out at all times, and you can't let the world know. You can't let the world know that a child did this to you.
He also has potentially the coolest traversal method out of any character in any show.
Yeah, he breaks a pole off of their building and he throws it and jumps on it.
Yeah, and he just somehow calculates it to be exactly, like, it land exactly where he wants it to.
Yeah, even though he had presumably never been to the land of Korn, he knew exactly where it was. which is low key kind of wild. But Goku ends up waking up and realizing that one of the Dragon Balls he'd collected, his grandfather specifically, was in his chest pocket, and that led to him surviving.
It acted like a proof shield for him, basically.
I just spilt my water. Bruh. So, yeah, Goku definitely was lucky. In that case, in that sense of like, bro kind of really did luck out. Hold on, guys. So, the next spot though, after he trains up with Korin, and then he comes back, beats Tao. There really isn't much to talk about. Like, he dominates Tao. He beats him so he beats Tao so hard that Tao stops acting like a martial artist, and he's just like, hey, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to just leave and never come back. And then he like pulls out this grenade and throws it at Goku.
Yeah. A lot of people just shoot Goku. Like, it happens a lot.
They really do. Bro, in Dragon Ball, especially, like, OG Dragon Ball, like, Goku gets shot by at least 4 different people. There's even a scene with, like, General Blue, where General Blue, like, holds a shotgun to Goku's head, and he's just like, bro, I will blow this man's head clean off. And Goku's just never worried about it. He's always like, it's fine.
I mean, he doesn't have to be, because he can't, basically, is immune to bullets.
I mean, Mercenary, I think the only time where a bullet would have actually, like, ended Goku's life was with General Blue, who had him weakened and beaten him down.
Blue was actually put him in a bad situation.
Yeah, but going fast forwarding, so later on like near the very end of that arc, the very end of that arc, Goku has just destroyed the entirety of the Red Ribbon Army by himself. A 12-year-old boy versus an entire army at their headquarters, annihilated.
Ridiculous.
Bro actually killed most of them.
Yeah, he just killed a lot of people.
Yeah, no, like Goku definitely committed a mass murder. There's no way around it.
Realize how many people Goku just straight up killed in this section of the story.
Like,
as a child, as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, no, Goku is him, bro.
Yes.
So then, in the very next arc, it's another like, at the very end of that arc, Goku and it's Goku, Yamcha, Krillin. They are fighting for Appa to get the last Dragon Ball to revive Appa's dad, because Goku's like, hey, this is kind of my fault. I feel bad. Like, if I didn't show up here, they wouldn't have shown up here. And then your dad would still be alive. So, like, I do feel bad for you. So let me revive your dad. It's cool. So they fight in this tournament for a fortune teller to try to find the last Dragon Ball. And at the very end, like, they kind of breeze through it. This is the beginning of Yamcha getting, like, shit on by enemies.
Yeah, they end up having to fight a bunch of fighters from Otherworld, which is basically Dragon Ball's equivalent.
Well, no, it's just one fighter from Otherworld. The rest are like her destined fighters, the ones she already has on contract.
So fortune teller Baba is like has this weird connection with the Otherworld where she can like
traverse
into it and get people from there back into
our world
worlds temporarily.
Yeah, she can give you a 24-hour pass from the land of the living to the land of the living from the land of the dead. It's interesting because
it's not really known if there's a limit on that, but she doesn't do it a whole lot.
Well,
so you think there probably is.
I mean, it's not necessarily that it's a limit. It seems to be more like she only will bring back someone she herself wants to. Like, there's a scene in Dragon Ball Super where Goku asks for Frieza to come back, and Baba's like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I'm good. And she gets talked into it by Goku, And she outright tells him, like, Goku, you owe me one for this. He goes, I'll owe you 100 for this.
Mhm.
But she ended up bringing back Goku's grandfather without actually knowing that's who he was. So it was the way that it sounds from Baba's own mouth is that she was kind of going through the fighters who live there, and Gohan sought her out when she was in Otherworld. He heard of her. We don't know how, but the way she herself words it is he found her in the land of the dead and asked her, hey, can you bring me there when the time comes? And she just kind of does. So
It's most likely he knew that Goku would be taking part in the tournament. And
well, yes,
wanted to
but
see
it's
if
not
he
known
was
how. It wouldn't be known how Gohan knew.
Yeah, it wouldn't be known how he knew, but it kind of like seems to be the implication.
Father's
that
intuition.
he knew. Yeah. Again, it seems to be implied, but there's no mechanical reason for him to know at this point.
Definitely not. So Gohan is like, hey, I wanna like, or hey, like it's my turn to fight you. I hope you don't hold back. And go. Like, keep in mind he has a mask on, so Goku doesn't know who this man is. He just sees this masked fighter, and it's really funny because Goku's just like, hey, you fight really familiar. He goes, oh, that's not all I can do that's familiar. Kamehameha. He's like, wait, only me and Roshi know that move. Because at that point, only those two knew it. And and Gohan, like, shoots it off when Goku, fires his. It was an even clash. And then Gohan grabs Goku's tail. And, like, he goes, oh, I see you didn't train your tail like I told you to. And he starts, like, freaking doing that thing that Hulk did to Loki, where he slams him like back and forth until Goku's tail rips off. And he goes, well, there you go, I removed your weakness. Now, hopefully, if it does grow back again, you'll actually train it this time.
Yeah.
Which he's like, wait, no way, there's no way, you can't be. And like Gohan takes off the mask, and it's this very wholesome scene of Goku being reunited with his father figure.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in the original Dragon Ball, and that's why it really bothers me that not a lot of people see it, because that's a great emotional moment. And there's a lot of times, like, later on in the story, that, like, there's moments that won't really be as impactful, if you don't.
There is one really cool, like, callback to it later on in Super, though, where Goku, beat by beat, will reenact that fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's such a great scene.
So
But
in that scene that you mentioned earlier, where he's going to Fortune Teller Baba to ask her to bring back Frieza to life, he's waiting on the arena where they fought, and that's when he goes and, like, literally beat by beat does the exact same motions as he did in that fight.
yeah, so after Goku is done, Fortune Teller Baba tells him where it is. Goku finds out it's the Pilaf gang again who has it, but this time he's so much stronger that, like, it doesn't matter that they have their robot with them. He demolishes them, beats them really easy, which, granted, of course he does. He just beat an entire army. What made you think that the three of you were going to be any different? So Goku ends up wishing for Upa's dad to be revived. And then Roshi, he's like, all right, Roshi, let's go back to your island and train. And Roshi goes, no, you're not training with me this time, Goku. You're too strong. I can't. There's nothing I can teach you. You'll benefit more by training alone than you will with training with me. So Goku traverses the world.
I think you skipped over, but during the Mercenary Tau stuff, he trains with Korin, and that's why he ends up so strong.
I mentioned it
in Mercenary Tau in their second fight. So he had to chase this Korin around the place to get this sacred water, which would make him stronger. But then the actual training was chasing him around, and there was no sacred water.
I mean, I didn't mention exactly what he did with Korin, but I did mention he trained up with Korin.
But that's also important to note for later.
I mean, fair. Because Korin does actually have, actual sacred water. That's essentially just poison.
Which is really funny, because he's like, yeah, there's no secret water. Actually.
Alright, so I'm running out of time. I have 4 minutes. So I'm gonna speed through like the last. I'm gonna give cliff notes for the last 2 arcs, and then I'm gonna peace out.
Gotcha.
So the cliff notes are: there's another tournament. There's a fighter, Tien Shinhan, which you know, of course, Tien. He shows up in it, and it's mentioned that Tao was actually Tien's master's brother. So their group is there to avenge Tao and to murder Goku. Their whole plan is to kill Goku. But in there, Tien, who was raised, and Chaozu, they were both raised to be assassins. They realize, like, hey, maybe we're the bad guys in this situation. Like, because Roshi was even like, look, I want you to know you don't have to be a bad person just because you're trained by a bad person.
This isn't you.
Exactly. This isn't. Hey, bro, this ain't you.
This isn't you, Tien. He's trying to reach them that whole tournament, the 22nd Tenkai.
Yeah, and like at one point when Roshi's the one that's fighting him, the whole time Roshi's just like, look, he's on defense, and he's like, look, I might be weaker than you, but I want you to know you don't have to be a bad person. You are a good man at heart, and killing is not what you want to do. And he's like, you don't know me, you don't know anything about me. Then it's revealed later on through his fight with Goku, like, Goku didn't have to kill to get as strong as he is. Goku didn't have to be an ass to be the strongest. So, like, Tien recognizes Goku's strength and that he overall is a good person. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to be a killer anymore. And it's this really amazingly wholesome scene, in my opinion, where, like, Tien's just like, look, Goku, like, at the very end of the tournament, which Tien does win the tournament by sheer luck. They both were falling out of power, couldn't fly, and Tien couldn't fly anymore. Because only Tien can fly at this point.
Yeah, Tien
and
Chaozu kind of introduced flying as like their own secret technique. And then the time skip between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, it just becomes everyone knows how to fly now.
But Goku fell to the ground first, or had hit a truck before Tien fell to the ground. So Tien wins, and he's like, look, I don't really want the money. Goku, you can have it. I feel like you won, and I really lost, if I'm being honest. And Roach is like, look, luck is a part of battle. Like, whether you like it or not, you won. You beat Goku. Therefore, that money is yours, and we will not be taking it. Goku realizes he forgot his stuff. Hold on. Goku forgot his stuff at the tournament arena, and Krillin offers to go get it. And Goku just has this really bad feeling when something happens to Krillin after Krillin goes to get it and hasn't returned for a while. Goku goes to check on him, and that's when they find out that Krillin is dead. He was murdered by the Demon King Piccolo's offspring, who was revived by the Pilaf gang. And that's where I'm going to leave it for now, on my end. Because I have to go to go eat with family.
Right. That's a pretty good overview of those first few arcs. Obviously, we'll come back to this and keep on going because there's a lot more.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot more left.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our ramblings of Dragon Ball, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace.